Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the unboxing video. So in this video, hopefully I'm going to be showing you what happens when you receive a parcel from me in the post, or whether you've picked up this kit from me. What you're going to get is a box looks like this. And this has got your project kit inside it. Now, if you are just hiring this kit from me, then it will say here that it's just on loan. If you've bought the kit from me, then you won't have that sticker, and that means that you've bought it, so this is now yours to keep. On the lid, you can see there is a little label here which gives you a URL to type in to any web browser. That is a page on my website called Pico. And there will be extra information, things like this video are going to be on there so that you can take a look and see what to do with this kit. Let's open it up and take a look. Are you excited? So the first thing that we get inside here is a cardboard box. And this contains in here the main breadboard kit. Now it's stored in cardboard, which is a good thing because it's not conductive. Now this is going to rustle a little bit. There we go. I'm going to take that out of the packet. Now this packet, you might not know, is actually an anti-static plastic packet here, so it's a really good thing to keep. So don't throw this away, because it's a really good way to store this when you're not using it, to protect it from static electricity, from fingers and dust and all sorts of things. So this and this are probably best stored away like this. Put this somewhere safe for storage for this kit. So here we go. So this is the breadboard that we're going to use. This is the breadboard part of it, actually, this white bit here. And there's lots and lots of little holes, which is where you can stick the jumper wires and the component wires, whether you've got LEDs or resistors or different things. You should be able to see that the columns of holes are labelled. We've got A, B, C, D, E, and then we've got F, G, H, I, J. And those are the columns. So it's almost like you can play battleships, and I could say to you, can you put a jumper wire into D2? And so you'd look for D, you'd go A, B, C, D, and then we'd look for row number 2. There's row 1 and row 2. Now, how this breadboard is connected, we'll go into more detail when we look at this in the next video. But each of these rows is connected. Let me just say, while we're here, this top row, A1, B1, C1, D1 and E1, they are all connected underneath, inside this breadboard here. So if I put a wire into A1, and if I put one leg of an LED into E1, they would be connected underneath the surface here. So that is going to help us make lots of connections. What else have we got on here? Well, you can see the words Raspberry Pi Pico. And then we've got some sockets here and some pins. Now this is actually where the Raspberry Pi Pico is going to go. And in your box, you will see, here it is, it's all labelled up. This is your Raspberry Pi Pico. This is the actual microcontroller that we're going to use. This breadboard kit is just something to help us to connect with the little microcontroller that we've got in here. So actually the first thing that we can do is we can put this little microcontroller safely into this breadboard. So then we know we're not going to damage it, because as you can see, it's got lots of little legs here. What does it remind you of? A little centipede or something? So here it is with lots and lots of legs, and you can see these are just quite thin metal, so they might bend out of shape. Now, when we're holding things like this, we want to be very careful with our fingers to try and not touch too much on the top in case we do have any static electricity on our fingers. We don't want to damage any of the circuitry on here. So we do want to hold it by the edges if we can. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this into our Raspberry Pi Pico breadboard. Now you should be able to see the words here are, see if I can get it in focus, there they are, Raspberry Pi Pico H. Can you see that? The H just means it's got these legs. They're called headers, these little things which are connected on. These have all been soldered on for us to make the connections. You can buy them without the headers, but that's an awful lot more work. So what we're going to do is we are going to line this up. We want the Raspberry Pi Pico wording down here to be the right way up. Okay, and this is the way the breadboard is. That means that we've got this little socket here. This is where we're going to plug it in. This is going to be at the top of here, and you can see on the board there's a little sign here, this little white sign to say this is where we're going to connect it. So you'll want to look on the side and make sure that you're lining up all of the legs, that you're not too high or too low. And again on this side we're going to check that that is all in there, and then we're just going to give it a very gentle push in. You can push on this bit and this bit. It's a good place just to give it a little push and a wiggle. I'm going to just push on the sides quickly. There we go. So now you can see this has been pushed all the way down. So that's the top of the board there. So now this is in position. This is now something that we can connect up into our laptop, and we're going to need, in here, probably right at the bottom, here is the cable that we're going to use. Now this is a USB cable. You might recognize this. This is a USB-A connector, this larger one here, which you'll see it's very common for mice and keyboards and that sort of thing. And then this end here, this one is actually a micro USB, the micro USB. So I've put in a cable into this kit for you just in case you didn't have this. Micro USBs are used in Kindles and various other devices. So this isn't a special cable as such, but it's just quite a simple short cable. So the micro USB has got a right and a wrong way to plug it in. Can you see it's not the same as the USB-C, which you can plug in both ways. So we need to get it the right way up. It won't go in the wrong way. We actually put it in this way. And this, when you push it in, you will feel a little sort of click there. Can you see it hasn't actually gone all the way in, but there was a little click as the little kind of pins on top sort of pushed into position. So that is now properly connected at the top. What this means is that we could now connect this in at the other end. We can plug this into a laptop, a computer, or even just another Raspberry Pi if you wanted to. The software is going to work probably best if you are connecting into a laptop of some sort. But now I'm not going to suggest that you plug it in straight away because we don't yet know what all of this is doing. And we want to make sure that at our laptop end, we are ready for it. So I've done another video explaining that you need to install Thonny. So if you've not installed Thonny, then that is the thing to do before we plug this in. So now we've got that, that's all ready to go. Now let's take a look and see what else is in here. I'm just going to run through some of the things quickly because it's very exciting to see what's in here. We have got some things, again, in an anti-static little bag here. This is a sensor. This is a PIR sensor, an infrared sensor. We're going to be using that in some of our projects. This is another sensor. this is an ultrasonic distance sensor. It looks like eyes, doesn't it? And actually, this is a great one. If you want to think about making little robots or things, you can make them with eyes that look like this, because what they can do is they can sense when the robot is coming close to a wall, and so you can get it to stop before it hits a wall or an obstacle of some sort. So that's a really fun little device that we're going to be using. This one here, this is just a very annoying buzzer, so apologies to your parents in advance, but this is a buzzer which we might be using. And this is a little motor. It's called a servo. So it's a geared motor which can move a certain degree, not all the way around, but this will be perfect if we want to make a project which maybe indicates on a dial. We might have a dial or some kind of movement, arrow pointer showing us what's going on. So we will use the servo for that. Keep that all in its little bag there. It's got some extra pieces in there. We've also got another bag with some different components in here. What we've got in here is a little transistor. I've got 2 transistors actually. There's a light dependent resistor, some little tiny push button switches, and some very funky LEDs, which we're going to be using. You'll like those. Now there's lots and lots of connecting cables, and I've hopefully given you every single possible connecting cable that you will possibly need, and many more besides, I dare say. Some of them are connected together. Now I would recommend, if you can, try to not pull them all apart straight away. Firstly, because they are nice and neat to be stored like this, and you can always peel one off when you need to use one. But we do have some devices like this sensor. This sensor needs 3 connectors. So it's dropping it. We need to connect to 3 little pins in this sensor here. There we go, you can see them shining. And so if we have a set of 3, we could just pull off a set of 3 like that, and then that could be our connector which goes to the sensor. So keep those as they are. Some of them are separate already. What else have we got in here? Well, we've got another breadboard in case you want to be doing a different type of circuit, or you want to have 2 on the go at the same time. There's lots of space on here. And then finally at the end, at the bottom here, we've got some resistors. Now I have labelled these resistors, but as soon as you take them off that bit of paper, you're going to see that we're going to lose the numbers. Now these numbers are really important. We need to know what they are, but luckily they've got colour-coded bars on each of them. So one of the things that we'll be doing is we'll be making a chart of the colour codes so that you can quickly look up, okay, I've got a red, red, brown. What does red, red, brown mean? Well, you'll be able to look it up in your chart and see that red, red, brown is a 220 ohm resistor. So those are there at the bottom of the box. Now this box hopefully is a fairly decent sturdy box which is going to keep everything nice and safe for you. So I would recommend, if you're not using these pieces, just to keep them all in the box, because it's very easy to lose little things, isn't it? Especially when there's so many other projects going on at your home, as there always is here. I expect you're the same as me. So try and keep everything in the box. I've got those components as well. This little box actually we don't need now, so that could come back into here. So I can just pop that in there, and then that can just be stored somewhere else. And so now this does fit in here, but ideally you just unplug it from the breadboard. It is a bit stiff now. These are brand new. Just carefully pull that one out. There we go. And put that all away. And I'm going to put the lid back on and that is the best way to store your kit when you're not using it. If you end up with a circuit that has been built and you've got lots of jumper wires coming out of the top of this breadboard, you'll be able to do is you'll be able to put this breadboard at the bottom of the box, and there will be enough space for you just to gently push down on the jumper wires and to keep your circuit all safe in there. Dust is really quite a bit of an issue with electronics. This is proper stuff. This is not just a toy, so it will be really, really good practice for you to keep this all safely tidied up like this. So there we go. So that is the unboxing video. Join me again in the next one to see what we're going to do with it next.